Thousands lined the streets of Rio de Janeiro Monday, welcoming Pope Francis to Brazil for World Youth Day. It's the Pope's first international trip since taking over earlier this year, and it started with some nervous excitement. On the way from the airport, the driver got lost, turning off a highway that had been cleared of traffic onto a busy street. Crowds of people rushed the car, trying to get a glimpse or even a blessing from the Holy Father. The incident gave his security detail a few anxious moments, but Pope Francis reportedly loved it.
And joining us now is our Latin America Bureau Chief Stan Jeter. Stan, Brazil has the fastest growing evangelical population of any Latin American nation. Tell us about the growth that's taking place there.
The growth of the Brazilian church is absolutely phenomenal. It's a phenomenon that's taken place over the last 30 years or so, where they've grown from practically nothing to somewhere between 20 and 30% of the population of Brazil, which is a large country. And they do amazing things. They have their own radio and television networks. They have a March for Jesus every year in Sao Paulo that gathers between 1 and 2 million people. They are thriving, and they're reaching out to the poor. I think that's one of the key things.
Wow, it's a beautiful story to tell. What's drawing people to the evangelical church? Well,
like I said, they're reaching out to the poor. They go into the favelas, the slums. They minister there. They plant churches there. I've heard of many cases of the church growing in very difficult areas and thriving in very difficult areas. They have a worship style that's happy and loud, and they love it. It's more people-friendly. They're doing a lot of things right. And of course, the gospel message, which changes lives, is very clearly preached.
Well, of course, you think Latin America, you think Catholic. How does this affect the Catholic Church? Is there a conflict between the two?
Well, the Catholic Church has been losing adherents over the last 30 years or so. They have descended from almost 90% of the population to about 59%. So the Pope is facing a church that's in decline.
So then the question is, what does Pope Francis hope to accomplish on this trip to Brazil?
When the Pope left for Brazil, he had several things in mind, and he shared some of them, and one of them was definitely to challenge the youth and to invigorate the youth and make them a vibrant part of the Catholic Church in the days ahead. And he certainly has reached out to them. He wants to identify with them. Another thing he wants to do is to help close perhaps the enthusiasm gap between the evangelical church and the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is more sedate, and the evangelical church is more lively, and there's a lot more enthusiasm in the evangelical church. And so he's hoping to stir up enthusiasm to hold on some of the Catholics. You know that 70% of the people who leave the Catholic Church are becoming evangelicals. And so it's a huge loss for the Catholic Church. He hopes to reverse some of that trend over the long term.
Wow. Real quickly, is there any way for the churches to work together in any way? I mean, because they're both, of course, the mission is to spread the gospel.
In terms of social action, opposing areas of laws that they consider immoral or unhealthy, yes, they work together. And the Pope himself has reached out to evangelical leaders. He has a history of that. He's welcomed the prayer of evangelical leaders for him personally.
Indeed.
And so there's a bit of a friendship there that we haven't seen in previous popes. So there's a lot of hope that this could be a positive thing.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Stan Jeter, as always, for your insight.
You're welcome.